What a treat it is. We have, as we film this, the #1 player in the world. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nobody better to hit these 3 shots. These are 3 different scenarios, 3 different lies.
Yep.
And I'd love to have you sort of take us through these lies and tell us how you would play them. We're going to get to them and hit them later in the show. But right now, can you just sort of tell us how you'd play these 3 different shots?
Yeah, so obviously there's 3 shots here and they're, what, 5, 6 yards apart. It's not as if they're that dissimilar, but I've got some, this one I can get a wedge on it. As long as I don't launch it too high, I'll avoid these branches. I'll be able to maybe put a little bit of draw spin on it, get it onto the green, and this is obviously the easiest one.
Right. Okay. So this one's a little hard panny.
Little hard panny, tricky.
Downhill lie.
Yeah, but still, I've got, if you look at it from back here, you've got the branch on the right, the branch on the left. There's actually a little gap in there that you can, you can get it a little bit higher. And so I still think that this one's, obviously that's easiest. This is the sort of middle one, but I still feel like I could get that pretty close.
This is
this one's more difficult. This one's, it's a better lie than the second one, but you
can't hit this with a wedge unless you trap it, can you?
Yeah, but then if you do and you land it on the green, it's going to be very difficult for you to stop it on the green. So with this, I would try to play it out left and just try to get it up and down from there.
I don't know. I think he's going to make 2 birdies. I really do. But this one, we're going to have to wait and see. But we're just getting started here on Playing Lessons. This is a par 5 here at Admiral's Cove. It's a bit of a long one today, 610 yards. It's a little chilly. I'd love to hear your thought process as you walk up on a par 5.
Yeah, sure. So as you said, it's 610. I think the bunker out there on the right side of the fairway is 290 to get to, 310 to cover. If it was warmer and the wind was in the right direction, I'd probably take that bunker on, but I think today I'm going to have to just go a little bit left of it. And that's more the percentage play. I mean, I think if I really buttoned one, I could maybe get it over it, but I'd rather just put it in play, put it on the fairway over there, and at least give myself the option for the second shot, whether I want to go for it or whether I want to lay up.
And with the wind today coming a little bit out of the right, and there is a hazard down the left, but there's a pretty wide fairway there. Would it allow you to sort of work it with the wind, or would you shot shape it into the wind?
I think with the way the hole goes, for me, it's probably more comfortable to work it back into the wind. This hole goes a little bit left or right, so just with the way the fairway is in the visual, I'd rather see something start up the middle of the fairway to the left side and just sort of hold into that wind a little bit.
Does that affect where you want to tee off on the tee? The right side of the tee, left side of the tee?
Yeah, I sort of use all of the tee box when I can.
Yeah.
So, with a fade, I'll try to, give yourself the most margin for error and what visually looks good to you. So I'll probably tee off over on the right half of this tee box, to give me that, almost feel like you give yourself some more room to open up and sort of hit that cut.
Well, feast away.
All right.
I want to see it. When you tee it up, I mean, are you visualizing the swing you want to make? Or are you visualizing the trajectory?
Visualizing the shot shape more than anything else. And then I think once I'm over it, so I'll put my tee in the ground, I'll get back behind it, and I'm just visualizing what I want to do. And then from there, I try to get a feel. I make a couple of practice swings to get a feel of what swing I need to make to sort of make that ball flight happen. And then I get back, so what I try to do is pick the target where I want this ball to start, and I sort of lock in on that, visualize the shape. Walk in.
Yeah, touch them all.
And then it's holding against the wind nicely. And
so that was smoked, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was hit nice.
I mean, given the fact that it's a little chilly out here, it carried 294 yards. Your typical carry yardage with that, let's say it's 80 degrees, no wind. Are you carrying it 310?
310.
310.
Yeah.
I get to walk to a 294-yard shot in the air. I don't get to do that very often. Let's take off and go.
Perfect.
Go follow it up.
Let's do it.
the consistency that you've worked for and achieved is extraordinary. But when you're off and you're trying to sort things out, how much time do you address to the mental aspects of it, and how much time do you address to the technical aspects of it?
Yeah, so I think they, with confidence, they both play a very crucial role, right? I think confidence only comes from technically being in a good space and seeing results. And, so if I do get a little off, the one thing that I try to do is I try to play my way out of it. I try to play my way through it. Yes, you have to practice and you have to, you have to get technically in the right spot. But at the same time, if you get out and you play and all of a sudden you start to shoot 66s, 65s, there's no better thing for your confidence in golf than shooting good scores. And for me, any time that I have struggled, playing my way out of it has always been something that works for me. When I start to think about the outcome of a tournament or a round or of a shot that I'm going to play, it never works out the way I want it to. So I need to break it down to its simplest form. So even this tee shot that I just hit, if it's a very important tee shot, all I'm thinking about is, what shot do I want to hit? Visualizing that, feeling it with my swing, picking a good target, and making a good swing. And if I can do that and I can break that down to its simplest form, hopefully 9 times out of 10, I'm going to do what I just did. But yeah, I think with the way the game of golf is nowadays at the top level, and there's all this noise around it, you have to try to take all that noise away and break it down to its simplest form, which is, I'm playing golf and I'm trying to shoot the best score possible. And if I keep doing that day after day, all these things will just happen.
All right, Rory, nice drive.
Thank you.
294, your divot's right in front of the ball, so you didn't get a lot of help. Take us through your process here. This is a par 5 where you could probably, under ideal conditions, get home in 2, no problem, but these are not ideal conditions, are they?
No, a little chilly, wind's back off the right, 285 front, water on the front right of the green. There's a little sliver of land approaching the green on the left side, but I mean, it's very narrow, and that's exactly where I'd sort of be hitting the 3-wood into. So for me, with the way this hole's playing today, I'm going to lay it up to a good number and hit a wedge in from there.
Do you have a favorite yardage that you like to lay up to?
I mean, today I think if I were to lay up to around 100, 110, that would be a sort of nice 3/4 56. Gotcha. And I'd rather hit something a little easier than try to hit a flat-out wedge to control the spin more so on the trajectory than anything else. So going to try to lay this up to about 100, 110.
So your second shot here, you're making a choice that will affect the spin rate on the next shot you hit, aren't you?
Yeah, no, exactly, yeah. And it depends on the pin position as well. If the pin was a little further up the green, I would say I'd try to get it a little bit closer to the green so I could skip something in there.
Oh, yeah.
And then if the pin was a little further to the front, I'd like to maybe hit a full shot in so I could land it behind the hole and spin it back. So you're always trying to think a step ahead.
So let's see the club of choice here. What would it be?
Back into the 5-iron. 5-iron should go about 200.
Okay. It should lay you well back of the water.
Yes.
Are you, if you're going to lay up kind of theory guy? I mean,
give
yourself a buffer there. Don't
exactly,
push it.
Yeah, don't push it.
Yeah.
Don't push it at all.
All right, let's see it.
Okay.
Beauty. According to Top Tracer, that flew 186. You were just hitting a cut into that wind, and the wind picked up considerably right when you hit that shot.
It did, exactly. So probably left myself a little longer than I wanted to, but that's fine.
But it got colder and windier as you were standing over that shot. So let's go up and have a look at this wedge shot.
Perfect.
All right, Rory, we got a layup here. You got 116 yards into the screen, but there's really kind of a lot going on up here around the screen, I think.
Yeah, there is. Obviously, you've got a little bit of water on the right. You've got, probably one bunker in play on the left. It looks like there's a little bit of a runoff on the left there as well. So I think with a shot like this, it's all about being real particular with your target and zoning in on that. But yeah, there's a bit of wind up there as well. It's cold. You really have to pick the right shot and for me anyway, get the right trajectory.
And what are your expectations when you're standing over the shot? I mean, you're just trying to stuff it in there?
Yeah, trying. The pin for me, it'd be different if the pin was on the back right and you're having to, work it in to try to get back there and avoid the water. But with where this pin is today, you sort of take dead aim and try to get it as close as you can.
All right, let's get a tap in. I think it's about pin high.
Pin high.
20 feet or so.
Yeah.
The wind got it, so it didn't.
It did. I was trying to hold it into the wind a little bit.
Let's go see you make a 20-footer.
Perfect.
When you walk up and everything's on the line, what is your process? How do you, detach from the moment and then get back into your routine, read the putt, and get settled in over it? Can you take us through that?
Here we have a 20-foot putt. It's a little downhill. And all you're really trying to do is okay, what's the read? Where do I need the ball to start here, and how hard do I need to hit it for this thing to go in the hole? Like, that's
simple enough.
Simple. It really is simple. And then sometimes I've made putting too complicated before, and I think the best I've putted is when I have simplified it down to a version that is very, let's start it on line, let's roll it, and let's see if it goes in.
When you walk up, though, are you trusting your instincts? I mean, you're not prone to second guessing. You walk up, and this putt looks like it's pretty straight.
I think a lot of putting is done before you actually hit the ball. If you can do all that stuff right, and you can get your read, and you can visualize and get a feel of what you need to do, stepping up and hitting it should be the easy part.
So you said your routine. So what is your routine? Would you take us through this?
I will, for sure. So, this is a little downhill. It's going to maybe be a little faster than some of the other putts you've had during the day. And for me, yeah, like as we said, this putt is pretty straight. There's not a lot of movement in it. So for me, all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to see myself hit this ball starting and where it needs to start for it to go in the hole. And then all I'll try to do is find a little intermediate point, a couple feet in front of the golf ball. That's my aiming spot. I'm much better at aiming at a spot just in front of the ball than at the hole.
Right.
So even when I'm walking up, I'm looking at the ball in this spot. I'm not even looking at the hole.
Right. That happens up there.
That happens up there. So I'm walking in. I've got my spot here.
Okay.
And I'm walking, and all I'm doing is I'm looking at it. I'm looking exactly at it. I'm still not looking at the hole. I line my putter up, and then when I set up, I'm looking at the hole because I know I'm aimed properly. And then I get into my setup, and then I just make a good committed stroke. And it goes in.
People won't believe it. That's first take. We've been cold sitting here talking about this first take. Great shot, great putt.
Thank you.
So I know you don't take a practice stroke.
No. Even when I worked back in the day with Dave Stockton, he would say to me, "Do you ever see a hole player take a practice stroke?" No, they have like a wiggle or but they don't. They keep everything moving, but they don't take a practice stroke. I like to keep moving, and as I was saying, I put my putter behind the ball. I get my feet in there, I'm looking, and then I just go.
And there is so much more exclusive content with Rory on GolfPass. Be sure you check that out. And just as we promised, we're back to hit these 3 different shots. Different lies, different scenarios. Let's just assume, right, that this is the last hole. You need to make birdie. How would you go about hitting these 3 different shots?
Okay, well, if it was the last hole and I needed to make birdie, I'd love it to just be this. This one's pretty easy. We've got 100 yards back into the wind. Obviously, there's these overhanging branches, but I really don't think they're gonna play a part in the shot. You know, it's still, you want to flight something in here just because it is into the wind, and this is 100 yards. So I've got a 52-degree wedge. I'll just flight something in there, and obviously you got to take on a little bit of the water, but I mean, this is a relatively simple shot.
I know you say it's relatively simple, and I no doubt it is for you. Where do you place the ball in your stance, and what are you visualizing in terms of impact to flight this down without spinning it too much?
Yeah, so I think as well, like I'm getting it a little back in my stance. I mean, I'm probably sort of the back third.
Okay, all right.
You know, I definitely don't want this ball to pop up in the air, because then the branches could come into play. So, you know, if anything, I'm gripping down a little bit. You know, I'm bumping into my left side just to get a little bit more pressure in there to,
Gotcha.
You know, to get the club coming in with a little less loft, so I can drive it forward.
I heard Jack Nicklaus once say that he visualized what he wanted the club to look like at impact to pull the shot off.
Yeah.
And then he worked backwards from there.
Yeah.
Is that a thought that you've ever had?
Yeah, that is a thought. You look at, for me, sometimes I look at the leading edge and I say, okay, where do I want that to be
At impact.
At impact? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Take us through this shot. Let's see it.
All right. So wind sort of in off the right, 100 yards. It's gonna
You're tied for the lead. Birdie wins it.
Birdie wins. Gonna try and drive a little 52 forward, get it up there close.
Oh, you almost made it.
There you go. So, putt for the win.
I don't know. It looked like it hit the hole. I don't know. Good shot. Good shot.
Thank you.
All right, this one is a little trappy, isn't it?
This one is a little trappy, but I still think I can go with the same club. I just need to probably put it a little further back in my stance, maybe more off my back foot. You know, come in a little more aggressively, and really drive it forward. It's probably out of this lie, it mightn't get as much spin. You know, that first one was lying pretty good. This one off the hard pan, you know, it might take a couple extra bounces to stop.
As you set up over it, are you still very confident that you can pull this shot off under most situations?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I am.
no problem.
I am.
How about the last hole tied for the lead, needing a big birdie?
We'll see.
All right, let's see it.
All right.
I'm picking up a theme here.
Sit.
Nice.
That one just didn't
You're
stop
right, it
quite
didn't
as
have
much.
as much spin, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So now we're 105 yards.
Yeah.
And the branches all of a sudden
are
maybe creeping into your vision.
Yeah, exactly. So I could take a different club here and try to get a little more precise and land it just on the green. But then you're bringing the water into play, because that's a pretty steep bank in front. I think the best thing for me to do is go with like a lower lofted club and try to hit a little cut, like into this hill here, just right of the bunker, and sort of try to get it to die on there, and it might go a little right, and give myself a 20-footer. All right,
Let's see what you're going with. Is that the pitching wedge?
Oh, this is a 9-iron.
Okay.
I'm actually going to go one less. I just visually,
right.
I'm looking at it, I think I can hit an 8-iron, and I can hit like a little punch cut and just get it onto the front left of the green.
When you go down there and you put the club behind the ball, are you seeing a movie? You're seeing the ball take off and...
Yeah, and you're saying, okay, you're trying to visualize, if I hit this 9-iron, what launch angle is it going to come out at? Is it going to, is it going to get close to these branches?
Right.
So I'm
You're just putting all the pieces together.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
So I think with the 8-iron, I can see this getting underneath it. stayed up.
That was a bounce away from being
It
perfect.
was a bounce away from either. It was a bounce away from being perfect or a bounce away from going in the water.
You got to get that one up and down. But the other two, I'm certain that you've got a good chance to make.
Yeah.
The greatest driver of the golf ball in the world with a drivable par 4. It's too tempting not
to give it a go.
not to have a go. It's just a smoked cut.